What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to look at 20 mind-blowing facts from history that will make your jaw drop. Now, before we get started, I have to give you a little disclaimer. Some of these facts are going to seem too crazy to be true, but I promise you, they're all 100% real and verified. History is just that insane sometimes. All right, let's jump right in. Number 1. In ancient Sparta, newborn babies were inspected by the elders. If the infant was deemed too puny or deformed, it was thrown into a chasm. Talk about a harsh intro to life. Number 2. The band. The Beach Boys took their name from the name of a famous hairstyling product used to achieve their iconic hairstyle. Is that the most 60s fact ever or what? Number 3. In 1923, a deranged wannabe physicist in England named Ronald Arm single-handedly tried to launch the first man-made satellite into orbit by strapping himself and some umbrellas to a massive barrel of gunpowder and rocket fuel. The explosion left Arm severely burned, but miraculously alive. Not surprisingly, he did not achieve liftoff. Number 4. Ever heard of the dancing plague of 1518? In Strasbourg, France, people began to uncontrollably dance for days on end until they collapsed from exhaustion and even death. Historians still can't explain what caused this bizarre phenomenon. Number 5. Anne Boleyn, the second wife of King Henry VIII, had a sixth finger on one hand. They called it her witch's mark. Number 6. The world's oldest functioning clock is the 600-year-old Salisbury Cathedral clock in England. Can you imagine if your smartphone or watch kept working for 600 years straight? Pretty impressive craftsmanship for the 14th century. Number 7. Tsutomu Yamaguchi was in Hiroshima for work when the first atomic bomb was dropped in 1945. After recovering from his injuries, he made it all the way back to his hometown of Nagasaki, just in time for the second atomic bomb to detonate. He somehow survived both blasts. Number 8. For over 60 years, the famous Oxford English Dictionary contained a fake word that was intentionally added as a copyright trap. The word? The completely made-up term dord. Number 9. In ancient Greek culture, the insomniac philosopher Pythagoras came up with a very unorthodox cure for insomnia. He would stand on silver pillows. I guess in his mind it made sense. Number 10. You know the well-known fable about the scorpion and the frog? It originated from the graphic death of an ancient Russian prince who was allegedly assassinated by having a poisonous mushroom stuffed, you know where. Ouch. Number 11. In 1932, the BBC had to issue a warning telling people that the Loch Ness Monster was definitely not real, after a news bulletin about the mythical creature caused mass panic and hysteria. Yes, people actually thought Nessie was coming for them. Number 12. Caligula, the notoriously insane Roman emperor, once declared war on the god Poseidon. His troops were ordered to attack the ocean itself by throwing spears into the waves. I'll give you one guess of how that went. Number 13. Horribly disfigured after a childhood case of smallpox, the Russian prince Grigory Potemkin forced every woman he slept with to wear a mask so he wouldn't have to look at their faces. Yeah, he was a real charmer. Number 14. Mary Toft, an English peasant woman in 1726, managed to convince an entire team of royal physicians that she had actually given birth to rabbits. She even appeared to give birth to the animal carcasses right in front of them through an elaborate hoax. Number 15. From 1954 to 1962, the CIA ran a top-secret mind control program called Project MKUltra. As part of their insane experiments, they laced drinks with LSD, gave unwitting subjects electroshock therapy, and even induced temporary comas. And this was being done by the U.S. government. Number 16. In 1954, a group of Boston construction workers had a bizarre and terrifying encounter. They accidentally dug up a decades-old wooden crate containing over a dozen human corpses, perfectly preserved in a strange red goo. To this day, it remains one of Boston's creepiest unsolved mysteries. Number 17. Hernan Cortez, the famous Spanish conquistador, once burned his own ships to the ground after arriving in Mexico in 1519. His message to his troops: "There's no turning back now, boys. Victory or death on this mission." Talk about bold leadership. Number 18, Robert Wadlow, the tallest person in recorded history, had to be buried in a specialized steel-reinforced concrete grave when he died in 1940. Why? At 8 feet 11 inches tall and nearly 500 pounds, his immense size and weight would have caused a normal grave to eventually cave in. Number 19, Jim Whitaker, the first American to summit Mount Everest in 1963, had to leave his face completely exposed during the descent through the harsh, sub-zero temperatures. Why? He had already burned off all the skin on his face and lips earlier from exposure. And finally, number 20. Brace yourselves for this one. In 17th century France, it was once a common aristocratic tradition to slice open the skulls of newborn babies, so their soft bones would mold into an elongated oblong shape as they grew up. Absolutely barbaric. And that's a wrap on the 20 craziest history facts I could dig up. I told you this list was going to get progressively more insane. If your mind isn't completely blown yet, let me know what other bizarro historical events you'd like me to cover down in the comments. All right, legends, be sure to crush that like button before you go and hit subscribe for more wild facts and stories from the completely unhinged chapters of human history. I'll catch you on the next one.